Finally, Mom called me down to dinner. After checking that everything was well covered up, I headed downstairs and quickly took my seat at the table. I glanced around nervously, certain everyone could tell what I was wearing under my jeans. My parents and sister, however, didn't seem to notice anything unusual. "So Sammy," Mom addressed my sister, "how was your day?" "Mom." Samantha griped, "You know I hate being called Sammy. I'm not a baby anymore." "I know, sweetie, but you'll always be my baby," Mom replied. Sam just rolled her eyes. "Fine then," Mom turned her attention to me, "how was your day, Peter? Do anything fun?" "I just hung out with some friends after school," I said vaguely, "you know, nothing much really." "Well, aren't you two just a bundle of conversation tonight?" Mom commented, "Anyway, Peter, I wanted to ask you something. We are going to your Aunt Margaret's for the weekend. We're leaving first thing in the morning." "Great." I thought to myself. There goes my chances of seeing Jane any this weekend. "So I was thinking," Mom continued, "you really are old enough, I mean you're going off to college soon, if you want to stay home you can." This was great. I'd have the house to myself for a whole weekend. Gee, I pretended to mull it over, "I guess I could stay here." "I thought you'd say that," Mom smiled, "just no wild parties." "Oh, you know me, I'm just a party animal," I joked. "Okay, wild man. Just behave yourself," Dad teased back. "What about me?" Sam pleaded. "Please say no." I thought to myself. Sharing the house with my sister would not be nearly as fun. "Sorry, sweetie," Mom said apologetically, "you're not old enough yet." "But Mom," Samantha whined, "Aunt Margaret's is so boring and she has those smelly old cats and she still treats me like a little kid." "Sam, that's enough." My dad interrupted, "You are going with us and that's final." "Fine." Sam huffed, slouching down in her seat. The rest of dinner was uneventful. Mom, Dad, and I made small talk. Samantha sat silently and sulked. It was a pretty normal dinner for my family. After dinner I helped Mom clear the table and then we all went to the living room and settled down in front of the TV. As we watched the latest reality show that featured celebrity chefs working in a high school cafeteria or some other nonsense, I became increasingly aware of my need to use the bathroom. I had just started to adjust to being in front of my family while secretly wearing a diaper, but there was no way I was going to use one in front of them. "Good night," I told everyone, "I'm going to go bed now, I'm pretty beat." "Okay, old man." Dad teased, "It's pretty early, isn't it?" "Yeah," I replied, "I thought I might read for a while or something." "I'm pretty tired though, it's been a long week." "All right then, good night," Mom said, "We'll probably leave pretty early tomorrow, so if you're not up, have a good weekend and be good." "Thanks, Mom, hope you guys have a good trip." I responded, "Have fun at Aunt Margaret's, Sam, say hi for me." Sam shot me a dirty look as I retreated up the stairs. I made it to my room and shut the door. My need to use the bathroom was increasing exponentially. I wasted no time. With very little concentration I released my bladder. Hot urine quickly filled my diaper, soaking the front then quickly pooling between my legs. It was so much that it didn't all soak in right away. I could feel it sloshing around. I was afraid to sit down, afraid it would leak out the edges. I grabbed a dry diaper and made my way toward the bathroom, intending to shower and change. As I stepped into the bathroom, however, I suddenly became aware that my need was to do more than just pee. I hadn't thought about this. Like Jane, I wasn't sure I wanted to do that in my diaper. Unlike Jane, I had a choice. After considering it for a few minutes, I took off the sodden diaper and finished my business in the toilet. Remembering what had happened to Jane just a few hours earlier, I felt slightly guilty for chickening out. Still, despite my enjoyment of the diapers this far, I wasn't sure I wanted to use them all the way, not yet. After showering and putting on a dry diaper, I climbed into bed. Grabbing my cell phone from the bedside table, I texted Jane. Guess what? I texted excitedly, my parents and Sam are going away for the weekend. I have the whole house to myself. A few minutes later, Jane texted back, sorry, I've got plans. Then a few seconds later, JK. LOL. I'll have to make an excuse for my mom, but I'm sure I can get away. Looking forward to it. We texted for a little bit longer discussing our plans, then I told Jane goodnight and decided to turn out my lights. As I settled under the covers, I realized how odd it seemed that an 18-year-old guy would be lying in bed in a diaper thinking that his life was just about perfect. Chapter 30, Home Alone. Sunlight glared through my window as I rolled over to check the time. 10 o'clock, my parents and sister were probably long gone. I checked out the window. Sure enough, the only car in the driveway was my dad's work car and my own. I had the house to myself. I checked my diaper and was unsurprised to find it dry. I had written off my one bedwetting incident as a fluke. I had to go, however. But I decided to take advantage of my newfound freedom and have some fun. I stripped off everything except my diaper and proceeded down the stairs. I stopped at the landing to make sure I was truly alone. Sure enough, the house was completely quiet. Walking into the living room, I hurried to pull the curtains. I didn't want to give the neighbors a show after all. I then went into the kitchen to pour myself a bowl of cereal. It was then I realized a downside to my weekend as a bachelor. My cooking skills were zero. It looked like a weekend of cereal and SpaghettiOs for me. Much to my relief, I found a note on the table. Peter. Didn't want to wake you. Have a good weekend and stay out of trouble. We'll be at your Aunt Margaret's if you need anything. Here's some money for meals. Don't eat too much junk.